Hello everyone, I'm the Hokage of Gaming, and this is day 3 of Journey of a Content Creator, where I trade stocks and try to get $2,000 to $3,000 in order to afford a gaming PC by June 5th. This is day 3, as I said, and today we will be looking at what does Biden's infrastructure plan mean for stocks. And before I get into that, as you can see, my buying power is now $819, and that is not because I had put in more than 100. That is because, as you can see, like here in the Robinhood, it's hard to see because there's a lot of obstruction, but I sold off a lot of stock, and just to, because as you can see, our account is down ridiculously, and there was a lot of companies that were just weighing us down. So I decided that I would sell some, hopefully, as you can see, made some money, and then that money would go and make more money, compound interest, whatever. So we'll get into this right now. Biden revealed a $2 trillion infrastructure plan on March 31st, which included an extension on tax credits for wind and solar companies. Biden described the plan as a once-in-a-generation investment in America, and this plan would include funds for things such as bridges, electric initiatives, renewable energy, such as wind, solar, and water. And a senator said that we also need to be ready to handle most extreme weather situations, which I believe is an allusion to what happened in Texas. And for those that don't know, the Texas power grid was just down for a solid 2 to 3 weeks, I believe. And that was because they privatized the energy, and they just didn't prepare well. A spokesperson for the Electric Power Supply Association stated, said it was closely examining the proposal and wanted to make sure it encouraged a competition among generation rather than direct funds to existing technologies. And I pulled this section out specifically as this would be an indicator of new companies potentially coming into the market, hopefully public ones that allow investors such as you and I to make some money. And I'll leave a link to the article that I use, and all the articles that I use will be in the description. So if you want to follow along, please look in the description, and you can follow along. And a CNBC article, and I'll just paraphrase, but I do encourage that you read it. Biden states that he has a stronger vision for America and feels that the plan will create abundant jobs, and some important parts are put $621 billion into transportation infrastructure such as bridges, roads, public transit, ports, so ship ports, airports, and electric vehicle development. If you are following along, you'll see that I highlighted airports, and that is because Warren Buffett pulled out from the airline industry around this time last year, and people were thinking that he had lost his edge, but I feel as though he was seeing this, and as we know, he's a great investor, so he's thinking galaxy brain 4,000 steps ahead of us than we ever are thinking. And the industry was not only headed for a nosedive because of the pandemic, but because of whatever infrastructure was really needed to get the airports and just the planes in general, not necessarily off the ground because they're planes, but you know what I mean, get the revenue going. So personally, I think, and this is I guess you could call it a side note, for example, like the Boeing 747, I believe, or whichever Boeing plane that was just crashing a lot, that could also be a part that Warren Buffett was looking into. And another thing that I want to point out from the article is Biden wanting to build a national EV charging system and wanting it by about 2030. So I'll move into the transportation infrastructure. Some stocks that I think will perform well because of this news, and I'm already holding some, are MP Materials, ticker symbol MP, United States Steel, ticker symbol X, and Cleveland Cliffs, ticker symbol CLF. I'll show you that I own a small part of MP Materials, and I had bought this about is this a limit buy? Yeah, I'll just show you the history. Is that it, or is it not? Yeah, here it is. I bought it, as you can see, on March 31st because that was, as I stated earlier, the day that the news had broke, and as you can see, made 58 cents. Not too great, but I should have really and truly bought more, because for those that don't know, Dead Inside, who I reference a lot and on most of my videos, great stock picker, and he he is the biggest bull case for MP Materials, and he says it calls it a once in a lifetime investment. And as you can see here, the stars are sort of aligning, and I wish I had bought more, but you know, we have to move on. MP Materials owned and operates Mountain Pass, which is an industrial asset and is the only earth mining processing site of scale in the Western Hemisphere. United States Steel would be a pick of mine. Get it? Pick of mine, because we're dealing with steel and earth materials, and we got to pick. As I feel the president will try and go for an initiative that buys American. Not to mention this would also play into rebuilding railways, bridges, etc. Cleveland Cliffs offered a strong Q1, and their share performance the past year outperformed United States Steel. And at the time of recording this, as Biden stated, he's looking to build a national EV charging circuit. And the stock that I think that will benefit from this is EVgo, which will be taken public by a SPAC. And that'll be something to look out for, as the amount of electric vehicles in production doubled. It doubled in 2020, and I believe if going forward it'll only increase, because Tesla, NIO, Li, and XPeng. As you can see, I own a bit of NIO here. This was from way back when in 2020, before it went super big. Oh yeah, I probably messed up the record. I had completely forgot to mention that as I have the $800, that is going to be like 8 weeks of this challenge, and I'll try to be as accurate as possible with how I allocate it. So it's just that I'm only investing 100 a week and not like shooting off like a 150, 120 that. And I can't believe I actually forgot to say that, but yes, I invested another 100 this week, and I can't exactly show you all because, as I said, screen policy, so on and so forth. So I'm going to detail what exactly I had invested in. So some of the stocks that I had invested in for the week of March 31st, I had bought a position in AGNC Investment. And as you can see, here it is. As you can see, AGNC is a real estate investment trust, which is a REIT. And long story short, they pay a monthly dividend. So I'm going to be holding this till about June 5th, which is the deadline of this challenge. And I'm just going to be collecting the dividends, sitting on it, and selling it when we get closer to the end. As you can see, the dividend yield is 8.4%. So how much did this cost me? I'm not exactly sure if it'll still let me record. So as you can see, minus 16 there. Div, which is a dividend, another dividend stock. Same with, what was the other one? AGNC, which is a REIT dividend. This is another dividend. As you can see, Div tracks an equally weighted index of 50 high dividend, low volatility securities. As you can see, I bought 19 at one point, and during April, which at the time of recording this is 2 days ago, bought another $26 worth because I was trying to use the dividend capture method, which I will be explaining in another video, in order to get more of a dividend, because as you can see, it's 9 cents. Not too much, but we work with what we can. And finally, I believe the last amount of my money was designated towards MP Materials. As you can see, I had placed a market buy, which is how I got the 1 share, and then a limit buy, which just means when MP lowers to a certain price, I would be able to buy another share. As you can see, I still only have 1 share, and I'm going to be touching on MP later in the video. But yeah, that's where my $100 were allocated this week as of recording this, and I'll try and get this out as quick as I can, and hopefully the Hokage in the future can edit this video so that it's a smooth and seamless audio transition, but that will most likely not be the case. So I'll see you at the end of the video. So it turns out that I did not, in fact, mess up the recording, but I was just being careful because, as I've told you guys before, Android screen privacy protection policy, whatever, it complicates screen recording. But I try my best, we're doing our best with limited resources. So the next part that I want to focus on is the quality of life at home. And really and truly what I want to focus on is internet. And some of the stocks that I'm looking at are Verizon. And this goes back to my Warren Buffett, influence. He had put $9 billion into Verizon. and I'll leave some of his reasoning, because really and truly, just as with the airport play, as I was saying, he saw what I believe that the airports would need this sort of infrastructure restructuring, whatever, I'm not sure how you properly put it, and he's seeing that a play like Verizon would be the best going forward. Not to mention Ceragon, which is an Israeli company, and as I stated, Biden will most likely try and buy American, but Ceragon is like a later down the line play, mostly because 5G signals, I believe it is like 1,000 feet, I believe, and 4G signals are like some 10 miles, something or the other. And Ceragon Networks pretty much just runs 5G testing, and obviously later down the line they're going to need a lot of testing so that they can get this right. And those are pretty much the stocks that I will be looking into. I have a small share in Ceragon, and I'll show that to you all now. CRNT, Ceragon Networks. As you can see, 17 shares, down -36%. And I had bought this a while back, as you can see, January 19. And with my newfound $819 that I made off of selling certain companies, I'm going to be trying to bring down this average cost. As you can see right there, it is $6.12. Trying to bring that down. I'm most likely not going to be investing in Verizon, but I still felt as though I should mention it because I feel as though it's a great play. MP Materials, as I stated, definitely going to be looking into that. But for the most part, the portfolio that I'm running now, I'm going to try and shift it away from tech, because I am heavily in tech, and it is not that it is treating me badly, but you know, for diversity's sake. So as you can see here, and I apologize because I was just moving around with the mic and I might have caused some audio distortion. But as you can see here, United States Steel at $23, down today, but that's no fret. But yeah, most likely going to be trying to move out of tech. I'm not completely sure what I'm going to shift to. I had read about today that there was possibly a short squeeze incoming on Sundial, and I've been holding the stock. Practically got caught holding the bag since February, and we're just gonna see how Sundial works out. Let's see, is there anything else? Kubient from back in day one, I believe it was. Yeah, Kubient up 6%, so we made $7. I'm looking real good with Kubient. Zomedica, not too great, but what can you do? It's plus 29%. You already know, I still have the limit sell in place from day one, so we're really just gonna be rocking with that. Where is Zomedica? Looking for Zomedica. Here's Zomedica. Yeah, Zomedica's been. Oh, did I just show? I'm looking for BioNano. What am I doing? BNGO. Yeah. So BioNano's being down, but at the same time, I personally don't mind, as I'm going to be buying the dip on this, because as I stated, trying to shift out of tech, and BioNano is obviously a healthcare service, so you know, can't complain. Anything that's not tech, really and truly, because as you can see, like for example, my Apple shares, as they're recovering now, I'm obviously not going to be selling because Apple is going to be strong for the longest. And I'm like, look at the dividend. I'm really just going to be sitting on the dividend, and I'll most likely sell it closer to the end of the challenge should it yield good things for us. Like if it's up a good amount, I'll just sell it. And yeah, I think that's going to be it for this video. And if you are enjoying the series, please like, subscribe, comment, share. I'm going to be trying, because after pretty much by the time this video is uploaded, I'm going to have like my goals for April, and I'll try and record more, but it's just I'm recording this on spring break, and I don't mind it, but it's just prepping myself because there's a lot of updates that I didn't prepare for in the previous video that I'll be telling about in a future video that isn't necessarily this one. So as I said, if you like the video, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and I'll see you in day 4 of Journey of a Content Creator.